if I didn't put in that effort for the first 12 months of, finding new friends, dropping friends that didn't no longer serve me, not listening to anyone, in my family, even though they're blood related, but it doesn't matter in regards to them giving you advice because, at the end of the day, I saw their lifestyle and, especially my grandparents, they were really negative towards me, but I understood that they worked until 75 and my nan's still working now. So I understood that I didn't want that life. So why would I listen to someone who I didn't desire to have?
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Diamond Life Mentor podcast with your host, Balazs W Kardos, and a very special guest today, one of my most successful clients in my mentorship, Jack Ruddell. Super excited to be here with you, brother, and hear your backstory and dive right into all your success and your transformation that you've experienced so far. So why don't we dive in and get started by you sharing a little bit about yourself and your journey leading you into the online space. Tell us about your background. Tell us a little bit about your story and where you come from, man.
Yeah, awesome. So I was around 18. I moved straight out of home and went straight to university. It was a classic type of, it's either a trade or a degree. In Australia, we focus mainly on trades and degrees, and it was either, you're going to do be a teacher or be a tradie or, something along those lines in my family. So I started, going to university and I did 3 years of uni, and I actually, one pinnacle moment inside one of these university classes was when they were talking about teachers' wages. So I always have big goals to, travel full time, have, wealth and, be able to give back to my family. And I remember this class so vividly. The lecturer asked us, to guess how much a teacher earns per year. And, he said that we earned $52,000 a year after tax. And I was mind boggled. I was like trying to think, how is that going to be able to, provide the life that I desired? So I started looking for things online. As soon as after that lecture, I was, going over through things online, like looking at drop shipping, trying to do low ticket MLM. I'm really, trying my best. And I did this for about 12 months. And, I was around 20 years old and I was, testing multiple things and, just trying everything I could to, try and find something that could allow me that life that I desired. Because the university degree, I'm grateful for, going there because it made me realize that it wasn't something that I truly desired. So I continued looking for 12 months, opened 5 drop shipping stores, started selling skincare products, was doing everything I could to try and make some money. And I failed miserably and lost over 5 figures in, courses and everything like that. And then I stumbled across this incredible business that I've been doing now for the past 3 years. And completely changed my life. Literally from 21 to 24, I'm now living in my, dream state of Gold Coast. If no one knows where Gold Coast is in Australia, it's the sunny side of
So
Australia.
beautiful. I love the Gold Coast. I've been there a few times. Really beautiful.
Yeah, and now I'm living that lifestyle that I, envisioned of freedom. And at 24, it's something that's unusual around here, but I knew I could do it, and that's what I'm living now.
That's amazing, man. So happy that you got started in something like this, as powerful as this at such a young age, because by 30, I mean, you're going to be just absolutely so far ahead of most people. And that's all because of the risk that you're willing to take and that desire for a different life, which is really cool. So you got started when you're 21. Talk us about the mindset that you need to have as a young person when a lot of the people that you're associated with, friends, family, colleagues, probably don't support it or I'm guessing just don't understand it. Like it's just foreign to them. So, what were some of the initial setbacks and challenges that you had from trying to share your vision for your life, for your future, what you're up to? Did you have resistance? Was it difficult, or did everybody just support you and wish you the best and it was smooth sailing right from the beginning?
It was almost the opposite at the start because I quit my university degree 3 years in. So I have one more year to graduate and I quit my university degree. And another thing is at a younger age, especially when you're 21, you've got a lot of friends who are in that party type of, scenery who are, living for the weekend, going out, living paycheck to paycheck. And I just couldn't see that for myself. So, it was tough, but a lot of the things that happened for me was I had to like separate I did feel lonely for the first 6 to 12 months, but it was necessary to be able to find that community and, to be able to live that life that I really desired. Because if I didn't put in that effort for the first 12 months of, finding new friends, dropping friends that didn't no longer serve me, not listening to anyone, in my family, even though they're blood related, but it doesn't matter in regards to them giving you advice because, at the end of the day, I saw their lifestyle and, especially my grandparents, they were really negative towards me, but I understood that they worked until 75 and my nan's still working now. So I understood that I didn't want that life. So why would I listen to someone who I didn't desire to have a life like that? So I, for the first 12 months was just putting my guard up towards, understanding that this is what I desired and this is what I really wanted to do. And then really focusing on listening to, podcast, reading books on, mindset, personal development, and really getting my mindset right to understanding that I needed to be in a business mindset and not an employee mindset. And that's what I did for the first 12 months. So I really, sat down and studied it and didn't go out, didn't do anything, focused on my health, focused on finding great relationships. And that's where I am today.
That's amazing, man. So in that initial period, what was your approach? Did you keep your business quiet and a bit of a secret and just kind of go about your business to like get it off the ground? Or were you the loud guy who's like, watch this, I'm going to crush it, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be free, and really like declaring it publicly or, social media or whatever? What was your angle? Did you kind of keep it hush, or did you have the confidence and certainty to just be loud about it and then not care what anybody had to say?
The first couple of months I was hush. I was just learning it. So I was really keeping it. And then once I built my confidence and I talked to some incredible mentors who were like, do you really want to dictate? Do you want to, have a life where you're dictated by their judgments or anything like that? And then after 2 months, I was literally like, you know what? I'm sharing everything. I'm sharing my goals. I'm sharing my story. I'm just going ham and I don't care what anyone says. And that's when I started really bringing in like, success because like so many people hide the business. You know what I mean? They try and keep their personal life and their magic business separate, with social media. But what are your leads going to be looking at when they come to your page? So I really understood that. And then, within 2 months, I was just, drop the whole, ego, drop the whole worrying about other people's opinions and just went for it.
That's amazing. Okay, so you're a couple of months in, you're finally starting to share your goals and what you're up to, your business, and making it known that this is what you're committed to. And so what was your business results like in the first, 3 to 6 months initially? Did you get off to a good start? Did you run into a bunch of obstacles? Did you have things that made you question whether or not you can do this? Or how did that play out for you initially?
Yeah, my first 12 months was a rocky start. I think it was because I was really trying to understand, this whole industry, like this whole type of business, because this business is like no other. Like I've done so much research around, everything, crypto, drop shipping. I've even done all of that. And this was like no other. This is where you have to become the version of your best self before you do get those results. Like with this business, you have to become that person before it. And that's what I struggled with, especially when I was a bit younger. I wanted results quick. I was like, looking for kind of looking for a shortcut within this business. And then I realized within 12 months that that wasn't an option. And then I started focusing on the real things, like, focusing on ads, focusing on, lead generation and actually learning a lot because I dropped the ego within 12 months because I didn't have a lot of success and I knew that I needed to really work on, my skill set. So I started, heavily investing into mentors and then heavily investing into, my personal growth. And then after 12 months, it was pretty smooth sailing from there.
Okay, great. And I think that one of the things that you said, that for everybody listening right now, I think there's a really important distinction. And the distinction is that you said you got off to a rocky start in the first 12 months. But in reality, that's not really a rocky start. That's like an initiation. It's a
Mm.
transformation. It's choosing a new path. So that's almost like onboarding, if you think about it. If you go to university as you did, most of the time in year one, you're taking certain subjects and it's like psychology 101. It's the basics, it's the fundamentals. You're not getting into crazy, complicated stuff, but it's just laying the foundation, laying the groundwork. But often it's because we expect to make boatloads of money in our first month or 2 months, and we've seen some other people in the community maybe get off to a fast start. And so it could actually be a mental obstacle that is unnecessary. If people just had this initial impression, hey, yeah, it is going to take me a little while to onboard, and 12 months is reasonable for me to learn the industry, understand what's going on. And if even if I didn't make a sale, you're still changing, you're still growing, you're still transforming. And so yeah, I just wanted to kind of reiterate that for a lot of people, because it's rocky based on what? And it's almost like self-imposed that, hey, I had these massive goals and I fell short, so it was rocky. But in my opinion, I think you're, first of all, 21, which is incredible, because you could have been drunk the whole year with your friends, but instead you had a rocky start in a billion-dollar enterprise that's going to set you up for life. So I mean, that's a big, difference of what you focus your energy on. And then you finally got things, quote unquote, moving in a good direction in the second year. And what do you mean by that when you say like things were smooth sailing? Describe that. Was it consistent leads? Were you making enough money to support yourself? Or when you say smooth sailing, what did that part look like for you?
Yep. So second year into the business, I started bringing in like sales consistently. So also I had consistent leads like coming into the 12 month, like the end of the 12 months. So I really started working on, getting a lead gen. But one thing I had a problem with was how to talk to leads. I was like, really needing to understand that. So I went heavy with, understanding sales, psychology, communication, everything like that. And then the second year was still it was still an incredible phase, because that was like my breakthrough through halfway through. But the first 6 months I was starting to get consistent sales. So, I wasn't yet replacing my income, but I was, having lots of extra income on the side, which was amazing, because I was like, okay, we're starting to get something going here. And then 6 months into last year was when I invested into this incredible mentorship. And then it just started going incredibly crazy. And that's when I made the switch to go full time online. And then we've been here ever since.
Very, very cool. So my question is that you said that you didn't replace your full-time income. So you were working a job, right? And what were you doing
Yeah.
for your job? And this was part-time?
Yeah. So I worked as a full time broker. So I was doing broker. And I decided to drop my university to work full time to fund for my business. And then my business took over and funded for my life instead. And that's,
Yeah.
how much, yeah.
That's amazing. And what was your schedule like? How were you managing everything between your job and your business? Like, what was your daily method of operation that you stuck to kind of get things moving in the right direction?
Yep. So coming into the last in 2023, I made a decision regardless. Like I made a decision that I was going to go all in despite, so this meant like working morning, working after work, and then also doing weekends, because I knew that if I put 12 months in of hard work, it was going to set myself up to have that freedom where I am now.
Hmm.
So, in that time I was, waking up. So I had work obviously 8:30 till 5. Made sure that I gymmed on my lunch break. So I had an hour lunch break. So I did my gym then. And then in the morning, I would check my ads, check leads, qualify my leads. And then after work was just calls on the phone, calls from like 5 till 10, just bringing in so many people. And, I thought it was going to be 12 months. I set myself up for like 12 months of hard work. I moved home. My parents saw this, and that's when they saw belief in me, because they saw how much work I was putting into this business. And then within 6, 7 months, I quit.
Hmm.
So it was like
That's amazing.
5 months before. Yeah.
So
And then,
you had your own place, and then you moved back to your parents just for that 12 months. That was the deal?
yeah,
Yeah, that's really smart, man. A lot of people have so much pride that they're not willing to take two steps back to go 10 steps forward. And I
yeah,
think that that's a really big mistake a lot of people make, is that, let's say they're in a corporate job or there's some kind of career when they find this business initially, and they're like, well, I've gone to uni and I've worked my way up and I'm at this manager level, but the timing, the schedule is like a huge conflict where they can't
mm,
really build their business the way they could. But if you make that two steps back, like for just as an example, maybe you're like a corporate manager, you got some benefits and it's like a cool job. And then you go to like Uber, right? It's like, whoa, that's a big,
mm,
like, it's like you
yeah,
suck at life because you went from there to Uber, but it's like actually Uber's really flexible. It allows you to do this. It actually is like a move you're making to prioritize your business. It's a temporary setback or a couple steps back. And a lot of people don't do that. They don't think that way. So I just want to commend you on how epic it is for you to have this insight. Like, I'm going to move home 12 months at my mom and dad's. They're going to see me work this business. And then you actually didn't even need 12 months because you moved out. I guess you found a place, one full time or something in 6 or 7 months. Is that right?
So yeah, what happened was I moved home, and like for me, 22, had a really nice apartment in Melbourne, had something going there, and I moved back home, and hometown, like back to my hometown, like where
Mhm.
everyone was, where I went to school, and I knew I just had to do 12 months, and then within 7 months, moved to Gold Coast, and now living in a beautiful apartment on the beach side.
Amazing, man. That's so cool. Okay, so talk to us about where you were at when you decided that you wanted to invest in the Diamond Life mentorship program. You had a little bit of momentum, you had some sales coming in, so you weren't necessarily in a super bad place or anything like that. But what was going on in your head at that point that made you want to invest and work together with me and get into the mentorship?
Yeah, so I come to a point where I was like making consistent like 5 to 8K a month, but I was struggling with duplication, like, leadership within my team and, being able to go from like the 10K to like the 30K. Like that was where I was like, I was just hitting under 10, but I wanted to go, okay, how can I get from 10 to 30? And then obviously, plan out from 30 to 100 in the next coming years. But that was my main goal. So I was like, yes, it's incredible. Once you start earning like 5 to 10K, you can quit. Well, for me, I was able to leave my job, but I wanted to be able to, further increase and see how far I could get with this business because I'm someone who's all in with something when I try it, and I want to go all in with this business. And I was just really intrigued on doing that. But also, what was really important was developing my leadership skills and helping lead a team. I was struggling with duplication with. I really need that help. And that's where, I come to you. And I promised myself once I hit 4A on my top ID, no matter what, I'd invest into the Diamond Life. That was the goal for me. And then I did that.
Amazing. So you're 4A, you know you wanted some support and help with leadership, duplication, kind of mindset stuff. You got into the mentorship. What was your first impression like once you got in the mentorship? What were some of the first initial things you learned, breakthroughs, or something that you started doing differently than how you were doing it prior for the year and a half that you were in the business before? Talk to us about like the first few big takeaways or breakthroughs that you had inside the program.
The first breakthrough was like realizing how incredible this business was, like getting clarity, like from yourself, like speaking about your wins and stuff like that, and really understanding, like, whoa, like this business than I actually originally thought it was. Because I think
Mm.
like a lot of people when they first start out, they don't actually recognize what they've got themselves into, like how incredible this community and this business is. And then just simply jumping on your calls and like, you talking about that and you talking about these wins and these incomes and these bonuses that come out of nowhere. And that's what really made me realize, okay, this is it. Like this is where I'm at. Was like how you spoke, like leadership, so how you talk to your team, how you can create duplication within your team, and then understanding that as well. I really took that away and then implemented it into my meetings, into my team meetings. I started running team meetings. I didn't do that before, and then I started doing that as well, and then it all just started duplicating.
Amazing. So then you got involved. You've been in now for 6 months. You've 10x your income, 10x your growth. It's been so amazing for you to see. So talk to us about like what happened next. So you went from 5 to 8K roughly to now what happened in terms of your income and your business and duplication since you got involved.
Yeah, so I went from five to 8K, and then I did like a 12K, and then I did a 20K, and then that was full time, and then I had like a little bit of like a lull, which then helped me because I like got back down to like 8 the next 2 months, and then I was like, oh okay, like went back, and then I think I can't remember her name, but she did a live interview inside the Diamond Life, and she was talking about this little pocket she had
Samara,
when
I think.
yes, 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 that's it. And then that come to me. I'm like, okay, okay, I'm just in a season. I've got to go back into it. So I went back and you were talking about, jumping on the phone, getting on the calls. Okay. So I went straight back to that. And then from December until now, we have literally done, over 100K direct, like cash,
Hmm.
which is incredible.
So you hit your goal of doing 30K months now.
Yeah, so just under 30K, but we've done them consistently from January. Like that's the
Hmm.
thing for me, like consistent income that's like over 25K, and we've been able to hit that, for the past 4 months, and then going on to even bigger, especially with hitting the ranks of 6A twice. So yeah, really exciting.
That's amazing, man. So you went from literally having one 4A top account and a 2A secondary account to both of them being 6A accounts
Mhm.
in 6 months.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, you're on your way to 6A2 pretty soon here. Are you building out the third account yourself too?
Yeah. Yeah, so a beautiful thing happened 2 months ago. My partner joined the business too. So she's the third account, and we're building that one now.
That's so exciting. So your partner's currently doing nursing, right?
Yes, so she's a nurse, and we're really our goal this year is for me to hit 682 and then her to leave for good.
That's so good, man. She can be your private nurse, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah,
There you go. All right,
yeah.
man. Well, let's talk about some of your future goals and some of the things that you've learned inside the mentorship. Like one of the things that often people miss is the mindset required to grow, right? In my particular case with my journey, I've always doubled down. I've always put the chips in. So as things got good, where most people would take their foot off the gas and say, this is good enough, I made it to this point. Like the old Jack, right? If you were to talk to the old Jack 3 years ago that was in uni and so on, about you doing now 30K months and talk to the old Jack and be like, hey, this is a difference of your life. The old Jack probably would have been happy with 30K and been good there, right? Like because it's such a big jump from where you were, but you're continuing to grow, looking at the next target, what's possible, and that's the right mentality. But so often people hit a 6A rank or a 6A2 rank, and then they take their foot off the gas. They expect their team to do everything, and they just want to like ride off into the sunset. And that's not leadership, and that's not how it works. So talk to us a little bit about the fact that you got off to an amazing start in 2024. You hit these new levels, but what does the next like future goal look like for you from where you are now to the remainder of 2024? What do you see? What's your path?
My next goal is to get the 100Ks, like the 100K months, and that's something that I've always desired to do ever since the start. Because I understood like the power of this business, and I saw other people doing it, and I was like, if they can do it, why can't I? But yeah, now it's scaling from 30K to 100K, and I understand that there's a whole process there. But now it's me studying and learning, from people like yourself on how to get there, the next steps. And that all comes with duplication in the team, and becoming a stronger leader. But that's the next goal there, and then helping my team all quit their jobs in a minimum 10K months as well. That's another
Mhm.
big thing as well. I want 10 people in my team to quit their jobs this year, and that's a huge thing that I once dreamt of. Like the beauty of having someone have freedom. We've got two already in the team who've got complete freedom from this amazing business. And I never thought, I did think, but I dreamt of being able to give that to someone, which is so powerful and so beautiful. You being able to give this incredible business to someone, gift it to them, and then they turn it into something great where they're now having complete freedom as well. So that's
Yeah,
the
man.
goal with
Yeah.
the year.
Typically what I always recommend is 30 to 50 because the mindset shift is to 50 is a little bit of an adjustment, a little bit of a tweak. But one of my favorite sayings I always tell people is go have a 50K month and it's going to solve most of your problems. And you probably heard me say that before. But once you have a 50K month, you end up investing like 10 to 15 grand back into your business that ends up taking everything to the next level to get to 100. So it sounds like you're qualified for the blueprint, man, the next level, because everything you're talking about that you need to do next is exactly what we always discuss in that program because people are right around that 30K mark a month, anyways. So that's something we can always talk about after this interview as well. So for anybody right now, I think like people often get confused between the platforms that they're in, the communities that they're in, their upline, their sponsor, the mentors, coaches, all these things are like, what do I need? What do I not need? Why should I? Why does it matter? Why is it important? And I'm doing this always to serve, right? Like I don't need to do a mentorship program. It's just something I enjoy helping people with. But what do you have to say to somebody who has access to communities, platforms, trainings, all these things, as into why it makes sense to invest further into their education with something like the Diamond Life Mentorship? What's your perspective on that and why you did that?
Because it's so important to get a perspective of winners like just ahead of you. A lot of people can get stuck in their own community, their little pocket community, and be the big fish in this little community. But when you invest and you go ahead, like with things like the Diamond Life, you're playing in a game where other people are like either just ahead of you or way ahead of you. So you're always following someone else. And for me, I understood that I needed to have someone just above me and then way above me to follow, because then I could, see the potential and, ask questions like, oh, hey, how did you do this? Or how did you get from there to there, A to B? And they give you that, give you so much knowledge. And, by investing into that, you're, placing yourself into a community full of winners. Because, when you're in a community where everyone's just building a business, okay, everyone's just building our incredible business. When you're in a platform, you're in a community, you're going to have but also a lot of people who are just there to like, chill out and like, be there every now and then. But when you invest into something where everyone's had to fork out and invest into something, you're in a community of people who have actually are wanting to win in this business. And that's a huge difference compared to someone who's, platform. Because when you've invested into something where everyone's actually, put skin in the game extra on top of their business, you're playing with the guys, the 1% of the, 100% in our business. So when you're playing around with them, that means that you're going to be getting these little nuggets and these little insights regarding how to get that next step. Because, what I've learned so far in this business, that it's not about like these like 2 hour meetings that they're incredible, but these 2 hour meetings, you don't get, information from the whole 2 hours. You get these golden nuggets within those 2 hours that literally change the trajectory of your, business. Like a few one-liners from you, Balazs, have literally changed me from getting a 10K to a 30K a month. You know what I mean? Like these little realizations, like, oh, and that's what you invest for. You invest for those little moments where you can, take that and then put that into your business.
That's amazing, man.
Transform
And,
it.
and that's such a, that's such a huge level of insight and wisdom that you have as a young guy, right? You're a young cat, but you're very wise for your years and you understand some of the stuff that goes over people's heads. Is like if you were able to put yourself in the room of the people who wanted it the most, who were the most invested, taking it the most seriously, what's that going to do to you from a level of proximity? Like, there's no way that you can't grow faster, accelerate faster, have bigger income months and growth. And like, you're a prime example of that. In 6 months, you literally, 6x your income, and then all your business is growing and you're duplicating and all that great stuff. So that's powerful, man. You said a few one-liners change your business. Is there any specific ones that come to mind that you can recall right now that were really, really major that you can share with people listening?
There was this one,
Just
I
pulling
think
out
I've got
the notebook, right?
yeah, there was this one that you said, and it was literally the other day. I was watching a replay on the training, and I literally leveraged it for my lead chat. It was about when you bring people into like the business opportunity and stuff like that. I'm just getting it up now. It was incredible. I'll find it, but you're saying like how important it was to help and understand sorry, how important it was to be able to give leads and understanding of what they're really getting into, and showing that, and helping them understand that they're literally getting into the best business opportunity. And you were saying like what really stood out to me was like, what if I didn't get that from my upline? What if I didn't, get that energy from my upline? I wouldn't be where I am today. And that struck me so much, thinking like now every coaching call, I could be, providing this incredible business to the next Balazs. You know what I
hmm
mean? You never
hmm
know. And that's why I need to come in with the enthusiasm and, the not over enthusiastic, but really helping them understand that they're literally jumping into an opportunity that can allow them to have legacy income for life. And that's
hmm
the energy I'm going towards now with the coaching calls, because it's not just a sale. And this is what you said too. It's not just a sale. It's a partnership between you and the other person. They're coming in. They're not just, they're not just buying into the products. They're building a legacy income business that can provide lifetime wealth. And
hmm
that's the energy I'm going towards now with, the coaching calls. And that was a profound change for me. And that was only a couple of days ago.
Amazing, man. The way that I always look at this is when you get onto a phone call, right? It's like, imagine your phone rang and you answer the phone and it's like, "Hello, sir. You have just won the lottery and you're going to get $100,000 per month for the rest of your life." Like, what would that call mean to somebody where it's like life before that call, life after that call? Like, everything just changed. And even though we're not promising and guaranteeing an income like that, literally, when we have a call, it's very much like that. It's like when you look back on your call with the person who brought you into the business, when I think about how I got into my business, I literally have a black and white example of my life prior. and my life since. That's how monumental it is. And so the fact that you picked up on that and you're implementing that in your calls, and when people have these like really what's the word, like just basic objections holding them back, we need to be able to say to them, hey, listen, no, 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 no. That's not it. Like you got to understand the gravity, the magnitude of what we're talking about right now. And that's where the enthusiasm comes in and the certainty. And then they pause and go, okay, I had this whole thing wrong. What I thought this was and what it actually is not the same thing. And that's how we get people over the line who go on and become 6823 and, create
Yeah.
legacy income and so on. So that's amazing, man. I'm so grateful that you're a part of the mentorship. I'm so proud of you and everything that you've achieved so far, and I'm really looking forward to mentoring you to the 50 and 100K months inside the blueprint if that's something you want to do as well.
Yeah.
But the last question I'll have is for anybody who's on the fence, who've been watching these client success stories, who's been listening to my podcast, who's not sure whether or not this mentorship might be a good fit for them. One last word that you have for them, like, what do you think would have happened in your business if you didn't do it? Right. So let's look at it from that perspective. What do you have to say to anybody who's on the fence?
The results speak for themselves. Look at all the success that the Diamond Life's created. You can literally go onto their Instagram page and look at the results. The results speak for themselves. I was a little bit on the fence, but then when I started, like 6 months, like 6 months, I literally went from 4A to end my business to 6A, 6A. If that's not even enough to even make you jump at it and pay right now, I have no idea what's going on in your mindset. Because like when like well for me, like when I saw the wins coming out of it, Samara, her wins, I think it was Samara, and when
Hmm.
she talked about it, that was
Hmm.
that I had to get into this. Like scaled from like 20K to 100K. I'm like, okay, where can I sign up? Where can I get started?
Yeah.
And that's all I need to say. The results speak for themselves. This has such a bulletproof system, and you've got so many courses out there. I've invested into coaches before, but we've got actual results in the community and hundreds of them of like people scaling their businesses. And yeah, that's all I have to say. The results
Amazing,
speak for
man.
themselves. Yeah.
Thanks, bro. I'm excited and looking forward to part two of the next client success interview when we're doing the update right at the end of the year. I
Yeah.
know you're on track. I know you're never going to stop and give up. You're leading people to freedom. You're changing people's lives, and it's only going to get better from here. As a young cat, you're only 24, man. So proud of you, dude. Can't wait to see what you create next. And I know part of your story next time is going to be that you retired your girl from
Yeah.
nursing, and you guys are traveling, doing whatever you want to do. So I already see the future unfolding for you, man, and I can't wait to celebrate you further. And thanks for popping out here and doing this awesome interview with us. For those of you listening right now, pop a little comment in the comments below, just celebrating Jack and his achievements, and make a decision. The results speak for themselves. Maybe it's your turn next. So click the button in here, book a call with us, and we'll have you out on a next future call as well. All right, Jack, have an awesome rest of your day. And we'll talk to you again real soon, bro.